An artist is like a scientist, always convinced that there is something, we can go beyond what we have been thinking until now. In my whole body of work, in my whole history, there will be three moments. One is the charcoal pile. Second is 1966, when I did the ideal mathematical equation. And third will definitely be this new experience with generative art today. When you think about the early works, that pile of charcoal, you know, which is a piece that today has been reproduced a lot. It's the concept of a charcoal pile, and that sculpture can be exhibited in many places at the same time and will be always presented differently, always changing. So already generative aspect is included in that very early work from 1963. Then there is this accident piece that came out in 1996, where I put some straight bars and I push them and they fall, and of course it's a little bit like a performance because it's so visual, so special, but what you see at the end is a sculpture, and we can talk about generative art in that particular situation. The idea that more recently I started to develop a lot was a collapse piece, where I put arcs or angles or straight line, whatever, in situations, and I push them or I pull them, and they create a configuration that never existed in the history of sculpture. I find that very interesting. It's really the best of my work. So again, generative. So today, my friend Viola started to tell me that it would be interesting to get involved and really get into that new field.
Event is Bernar Venet's first generative art creation, which is going to take a shape in a long-form release with Sotheby's through an Artbox engine. But his subject is very similar to the one from the 60s, how to expand the medium of sculpture, how to reinterpret the definition of sculpture. When he's entering the digital space, gravity and different forces work very much differently than in real life. So challenging the notion of sculpture in the digital space, it is what Event is doing.
I did paintings, I did sculpture, I made photography, I did sound pieces, I did performances, and today I'm working with generative art. It's very much in the nature of my work. Different concepts, different medium, constantly trying to question themselves and to see where I can go. If one day I discover a way to do art in a way that will almost destroy everything I did before, that will be so radically new that I will jump into it. The only goal is to change the consciousness about what art can be. You know, art is a field of knowledge, constantly in movement, where people can express themselves with the maximum of freedom.
Working with chance for Bernar Venet is essential, and in case of Event, we were trying to basically teach the algorithm, teach the machine to incorporate chance, but still moving alongside the principles how the artist would make the decision.
The idea of chance in art is very important, but here we are pushing very far, you know. Yes, angles in disorder, but then I don't choose the images. You know, those paintings can be done following my ideas, my concepts, and they are totally new.
Neither the collector, neither ourselves is aware of what is the piece which is coming out from the algorithm. So we have to make sure that we kind of constrain and teach the algorithm in a way that results in a beautiful, very unique and groundbreaking artwork. Sometimes, due to the scale of the sculptures, the viewer is empowered to move around and having different kind of experience, perception, immersion to the physical work of art. And this is the conceptual approach which actually fascinates a lot of the generative art community.
Perhaps after me, 10 years after, we could have an exhibition of works from generative art. Isn't it incredible? This is incredible. These are concepts that nobody had in mind before.